So first of all, welcome to Big PRIDEntity, Raga.
Thank you.
Author, writer, and I know about your book, but I'm sure I want to know more about it from you. So we'll start with the book only. Like I know, मतलब जो है उसका टाइटल ही जो बताता है वही काफी कुछ है उस किताब में, but और क्या है?
Book थोड़ी यूनिक है. एक तो मैं पहले ये बताती हूँ कि first of all I'll tell you why did I write that book. You know, Section 377 was overturned in 2018, September 2018. I think it's the first time people like me who were hiding, basically. We were hiding because of the societal pressures. Because if you didn't hide, then there would have been repercussions. So we didn't talk about anything. Even if my friends asked me about my life, about my partner, I would not say anything because I didn't know what the consequences of sharing the honesty would be, the truth would be. So I kept the lies inside me. I lived those lies and they were untold for many, many, many years. So one day my children who are adult now they're 25, at that time they were much younger. And my partner of now 16 years, at that time, of course, much younger, less, her name is Nicola. They said to me, how long will you live this lie? Isn't it time to come out with the truth? And I said, how do I come out with the truth? Because truth is very difficult for people to bear. It's very difficult for you to bear your own truth. And then if you have to tell it to the world, you know, the world doesn't like truths. They go on a witch hunt. So initially I refused to do it, but then I had been writing poems all my life. And I had written a few poetry and I thought I'll write a story about a Bombay girl. So the book has got 9 short stories about my life as a 6-year-old to, 10-year-old to as I grow older, as I first get engaged to a man, then how he cheats on me and how my life was shaped, whatever happened to me whenever I came out, that my life was not just one single dimension, that all our lives are multidimensional, that we are shaped, we become because whatever we become today is because of whatever we've lived through. Our experiences make us. So that is the book. It has 150 poems and it has 9 short stories. And the stories have shocked people because in that story, I start with the book. The first line is where my mother actually tries to kill me, which happened in real life. And the book ends. So the first chapter starts with that. Then I go into other things. So it's like a film you're watching. You don't know what's happened. Why was the mother trying to kill her? And in the end, I reveal my truth in the last story. And it shocked people because people expected me, London mein rehti hai, to badi privileged hai, badi entitled hai, not knowing that I actually come from the slums of Mumbai and that I have worked my way up. So that's the untold lies, basically.
That's the name of the book, Untold Lies, yes. And where is it available if I want to read it?
Well, it's available on Amazon. It's available online. And I think right now they have gone into a few other, I think 2nd or 3rd print, but it's available.
So it's your first book or you have written something before?
This is my first book, but after this, I've been writing quite a bit. I have written a memoir, which is half complete. So that hopefully should be out in the next couple of years. Writing a memoir is very, very difficult, not because it's difficult as a writer. It takes you into places which are very difficult to come out of. And someone else is also writing a book with 18 women who have made a difference to the world, Indian women, and I'm one of them. So I'm just kind of in the final edits of that as well. So, and there are other people who are writing some other stories in the UK, and I'm part of those stories as well. So I'm in other people's books as well. So I think it's time to write my own book, no?
Yeah, of course. Okay, so tell me, Raga, you think enough work is happening, to change the mindset of people, especially back here in India, towards LGBTQI plus community?
I think it's a very hard one. Work has been going on in the background for years and years. It's not that it hasn't been going on, but ever since the Section 377 got overturned, I think you can see more visibility. That is what has changed. And I'm very proud, actually. When I come to India, I don't have to hide as much as I used to. Pehle to sari pehante the, to people used to say, "Arey, where is your husband?" Now they don't make those assumptions. Those microaggressions that we had to face. In India, people are talking about it. Look at the same-sex marriage discussions right now, the marriage equality. I'm also one of the interveners, by the way, because just to give you a background, I'm married here legally to Nicola. But as soon as I get on a flight to India, my marriage is void because India doesn't recognize same-sex marriages. So I have no rights in India. So I think in terms of your question, a lot is changing in India. Thanks to, OTT platforms, they're doing some fantastic content. There's films that are doing fantastic. And I think we're learning to reach out to the masses in the right way. In fact, Owner, the filmmaker, I met him about 4 years ago at a panel discussion during my book session. And I said to him, I mean, you're a great film writer and you're a great filmmaker. But all gay men, women bhi to hai. The problem in India is people don't believe that women can also be gay. No, women can't be gay. I mean, I get told that all the time. You're Indian, you're a woman, you're a mother, how can you be gay? So I challenged him. He said, write a story then. Banate saath mein film. So I wrote a story, which we're still waiting to get a producer on board. And it's a love story. It's a beautiful love story. So I believe that narratives can change. Society can change by writing these stories, constantly sharing stories, constantly having visibility. Like, jo dikhta nahi hai na, jo dikhta hai wo bikhta hai, basically. So you cannot be what you cannot see. Like for me, I'll just go back into my younger days. Like when I was in my 20s, I had no idea ye gay kya hota hai. I think men were gay, thought men were gay. The word lesbian, ab batao, I mean, you're much younger than me, but the word lesbian did not exist in the dictionary. You didn't have libraries to go to and look at what's the word. You didn't have encyclopedias like Google, for instance. Kahan tha Google? So you just kind of thought, kuch gadbad hai mere mein, kuch gadbad hai, So that was it. But things are changing in India very positively, very, very positively.
The lesbian act was shown in Meera Nair's movie. And there was a huge ruckus about it. I don't think aaj wo hoga. Agar wahi plot aaj aaya, aaj nahi hoga वैसे.
I don't know. I don't know whether I agree with you on that because sentiments are the same. I'm telling you from my experience because I am a mother. A lot of people say to me, "Arey, Indian home, mother ho, sharam nahi hai kya? Why should you be living this life?" They actually ask me. They think I should be ashamed of the life I lead. And I mean, Nandita Das and we are very good friends. I have lot of conversations with her. I think the burden on an Indian woman, I would say a woman, but on an Indian woman in particular is very, very big. It's a very heavy burden on the Indian woman. You carry the responsibility of your family. And sometimes I tell them, I'm Bharat se mata. I'm not Bharat ki mata. Don't put that burden on me. It's a heavy burden. So don't expect me to carry the responsibility for everyone because I only carry my responsibility. So if fire was shown today, I still think there would still be intense, attacks even now because the role of a woman in the society's mind is still the same. That you're supposed to be looking after your family, you're responsible for your children, you're responsible for the society. I think the only difference is people like me, the LGBTQ activists, will go and make sure that you don't get silenced. That's all.
आपने जैसा बोला कि औरतों को अलग देखा जाता है, so कहीं ना कहीं even in LGBTQIA+ community में भी lesbians और gays को अलग देखा जाता है. This is my personal observation, but I think I don't know whether it's globally or not, but especially in India, being gay is still थोड़ा आसान as being lesbian. ये मैंने अभी तक महसूस किया है. The transgenders वाला situation is the toughest I feel. Again, my personal opinion, but I don't know. For females, it's more.
You have just got it on point. Really, it is true. Even in our community, if you look at the hierarchy of the world, right, it's men on top and women we always have to fight for space. And unfortunately, that oppression is also in our community. Men still, I've had an incident recently 2 weeks ago, which is on my social media, where a very prominent gay Indian man of British Asian who runs a very large group here, who was once a friend of mine, actually verbally attacked me at a huge trans pride here 2 weeks ago on the 8th of June. And he came very close to me here, like on my face, and his foot was on my face and he was very aggressive. And I wrote about it. And it was interesting. His friends, his men have supported him because men support men. Gay men support gay men mostly. They don't care about women or gay women or lesbians, whatever we call us. Then some of the women, which is called horizontal hostility. some of the women said, "Arey, he runs a big group. He's such a charming man. He must have just been animated in the way he spoke to you. It is not abuse." I mean, they are deciding for me that it was abuse or not abuse. So the point is that men get away with a lot of things even today because of the whole mindset, the patriarchal mindset. Men are misogynistic. Men are sexist. And why? Because sadly, people like us, women like us, and men, some men allow it to happen. And it is very true in our community at all. So not are we fighting the external pressures of society, but sadly we have hum andar hi ladte hain. In same-sex intimate relationships, do you know that the domestic violence between two same-sex partners is 44%, as against 34% in heterosexual relationships? Ye koi baat hoti hai? Has anybody spoken about it? Nobody. In my book, I have a chapter called Punishment. So when my marriage broke up, I started dating a woman. And that first relationship that I had, which I had for 2.5 years, the woman was violent, abusive, alcoholic, I have a broken nose. Even now my nose is teared up. I was broken. I was beaten so much, and I never went out, but never talked about it because it's a shame. How do you talk about abuse, domestic abuse outside your home? Because especially Indians, we are conditioned to believe that jo bhi hota hai ghar ke andar rakho. You should put it in your closet. That is why I say my famous line is that closets are for clothes, not to hide your truth.
No, recently I was having a similar kind of a conversation with one of my friend, and she was saying that, two feminine energies वो ज़्यादा complicated हो जाती हैं. That's why the lesbian relationships ना बहुत complicated हो जाते हैं at one point of time, and कहीं ना कहीं वो physical भी हो जाते हैं. और आपने ये बोला तो मुझे वो याद है कि वो ज़्यादा physical भी हो जाते हैं as compared to gay relationships. So is it like balanced?
No, I don't know what your friend meant by that, and I'm sure is she from the community? Is she from?
No, she's not.
So she's a heterosexual. So I don't fully agree. I don't, because I think all of us have both male and female energies. All of us, right? In some cases, men will have more feminine energy than male energy. In some cases, some women have more male energy and less feminine energy. So I think it's about just two individuals who have a certain kind of upbringing, who have certain kind of conditioning. So I don't believe that two women, if they're very, like say for example, by what your friend said, two feminine women, like it's me and my partner, both are quite similar. We don't have those issues at all. We don't have any physical violence in our relationship, although we are very, I mean, sometimes we can get hot, like, I mean,
everybody.
Yeah, but I don't think we've both been conditioned to think that aggression is the response. So I think it is nothing to do with two women being together. I mean, can you even imagine two men being together? Just ask your friend, tell your friend, imagine two men being together who are natural. Their natural reaction to anything that is hurtful is to punch karte hain. My own son said that to me when he heard about that incident. He said, "Who's this man? I want to go and punch him." That's their so two male relationship, aggression. So aggression natural ho jata hai. So I don't think it is to do with, I think it's to do with people, individuals, who are violent or they're not violent. Simple as that.
One more question, which is completely, again, from my side. Do you think LGBT, they are not everybody, but there are people who actually try to take advantage of being part of this community, professional advantage? There are people, right?
I actually, I'm going to respond to one of the questions you asked earlier, and then I'm going to, because it's going to just contextualize. Okay. One, you said that you get really, even today, you don't know how to use certain words, right? And I'm sure, and I have to tell you that all my speeches that I do, I was on stage recently at the London Pride, and I said at 50, I came out. At 52, I said the word gay for myself for the first time.
52.
At 53, I called myself a lesbian. Imagine how much time it takes so you can imagine others around, my family, my friends who haven't been brought up in that environment to accept the word gay and lesbian or queer, whatever, it takes longer. That's number one. Number two is a lot of heterosexual people have hesitation in, having lots of questions asked of the community because you don't want to offend. And there are some people who have aggressive reactions. And so all I want to say is, you make sure that you ask any question you have any doubt you have to anybody, me, my other LGBTQ people, because it is important for people like you to ask us questions and for us to respond to you in a dignified manner, because you don't know everything, so do I. I don't know everything either. Even today I'm learning about pronouns, for instance. So these two things are very important to keep in mind. Now it comes to your current question about LGBTQ, and oh my God, this is a Pandora's box. There is so much inside. There is so much inside the box, and all of us are. I am unpacking even now at 53. There are so many things I don't know. I am scared to ask. Sometimes I meet a trans friend and I ask the friend something, and I'm scared, thinking I hope they don't slap me because I asked her maybe a question that is offensive to them. So I'm saying that LGBTQ, we all get bundled into one. But सोचो ना, heterosexual सब एक जैसे हैं क्या? तो हम कैसे एक जैसे हो सकते हैं? Just because I identify as a lesbian doesn't mean that every other lesbian is just like me.
At the age of 52, you call yourself gay. And what was the age when you realized that you are the one? Like,
See, this is the problem. When people ask me, I have no answer, because it's not something that एक दिन ऐसे बैठ के Bollywood style में माधुरी दीक्षित को एकदम समझ में आ गया कि अरे now I am gay. It's not like that. Life doesn't happen like that. Like I said, you can't be what you can't see. So maybe I have been like this all my life because I've always crushed on girls and women, but I didn't know because there was no role model, there was no representation. So it was not until much later when I went to New Zealand and I was about 31, 32 years old, when I saw two women together or two men together, I realized ये तो है, ये possibility है. What I was feeling all my life wasn't a lie, wasn't a हाँ, it wasn't, ये झूठ नहीं थी, ये सच बात है. It's only that मैंने accept नहीं किया था. Society, मेरी society है, उनको पता नहीं था, तो they didn't accept me as well. So it was like unboxing. वो जो onion होता ना, onion, it's like peeling the onion. धीरे धीरे peel करके मुझे 52 years लगे कि वो onion निकाल के देखो कि अंदर क्या है. Even today I'm in the process of discovery. Even today I don't know so much. I got married to Nicola last year in August here. And I'm telling you, it is when people say, how's your wife? I mean, I'm the wife, right? All my life, I've been told that the woman is the wife. Now, suddenly, the person I'm married to has become a wife as well to me. You have no idea how much effort it takes to tell yourself and accept it. They're saying, okay, I'm talking about my wife.
Society को अगर मैं 4 categories में divide करूँ, so मतलब ऐसे फ्रॉम LGBTQI प्लस कम्युनिटी से अगर मैं देखूं तो कुछ लोग हैं जो प्लेकार्ड लगा कर खड़े कि तुम नहीं जा रहे हो भाई, यू आर गोइंग टू हेल. देन कुछ लोग हमारे जैसे भी हैं जो नॉट मेरे जैसे, मैं अब थोड़ा दूसरी कैटेगरी में आती हूँ. हाँ, कुछ लोग न्यूट्रल, उन्हें फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता आप एग्जिस्ट करते हो या नहीं करते हो, दे आर टू बिजी विद देयर लाइव्स. एंड कुछ लोग हैं जो कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि थोड़ा एक ब्रिज क्रिएट किया जाए, एक ब्रिज बनाया जाए. पीछे वाली जनरेशन को पता नहीं कितना मुश्किल होगा समझाना, एटलीस्ट आगे थोड़ा सा सेंसिटाइज किया जाए इसको लेकर. योर बुक लाइज अनटोल्ड, ये सबसे ज्यादा किसे केटर कर रही है इन चारों कैटेगरीज में से?
It's interesting because the book is not about LGBT. I didn't promote it as an LGBT book. So it has been bought mostly by people who relate to Bombay or in life in India. Because if you read that book, one of the chapters is about my childhood when we lived in the slums of Kherwadi. And my father used to be drunk and sleep all day. And my mother used to lock the door from outside and go to work. And I used to be with him as a little kid, sleeping with him. And I had really thought for years and years, you will not believe it, that is how fathers were. क्योंकि अपने father को ऐसे देखा तो मुझे लगा कि हर father is a drunk, her father sleeps, and every father beats up his wife at night. So this is how my thinking was. So my book actually caters to people at very different level. So the youngest reader was about 9 years old, and the oldest is 88 years old from the reviews I've received. So it has touched people. A lot of my friends actually bought in bulk and gave it away as gifts, saying that you have to read Raga's story because this life is hidden. So my book basically opens the eyes to saying that this is a person who has worked very hard not to be a gay woman. मुझे अगर the second book जो आ रही है उसमें I've written, I really tried. Every day I would wake up and say, मैं Catholic हूँ ना, तो pray to God कि please don't make me gay. please, can I be a straight woman? And I used to cry about it. I was like, aise kyun hai? I had such a beautiful life. I was married to a man, twins. I have twins, a son and a daughter. I lived in a huge palatial house in New Zealand. We had 3 cars. You know, the immigrant life. मैंने सब कुछ छोड़ दिया because I had no other way. I had to either live my truth or live a lie. So I chose to live my truth. And that is why, if you see my book title, Untold Lies, Journey to the Truth. And that journey has been a long journey. Like I said, I'm still discovering. I can tell you, when you speak with younger lesbians, you'll have a different story because they have seen people like us. They have representation, so they know what it is. Most people my age have been through what I have been through.
So you believe कि आज अगर जैसे आप अगर से आज से 10 साल या 20 साल पहले अगर आप पैदा हुई होती तो शायद ये जो रागा बैठी है ये अलग होती और you're very happy with this raga.
No, so listen, when I go out for clubbing, no, even at my age, I go out to the LGBT because I've missed out. I think to myself, मैंने सब miss कर दिया. You know, all these cute women dancing and all these opportunities you had. But you know, I have regrets, of course. I think some of us will have such regrets. But I also have, I think, you know, एक कहानी I'll share with you. I was in Madras. I was going to Chennai. Madras बोलती हूँ अभी मैं so old हूँ मैं Madras कहती हूँ.
Yeah.
Chennai. I still call Bombay. Mumbai है मुझे पता है. And so I went to Chennai, and a priest at the airport, a Hindu priest stopped me randomly, बिल्कुल randomly. He started looking at me and I'm thinking मेरे तो बाल मैंने shave किए हुए थे. I thought ये मुझे आके ना पिटाई करने वाला है कि ये लड़कियों के बाल क्यों shave किए हुए. So he came up to me and he said to me, I said, you are the chosen one. He said in Hindi, he said, you're the chosen one. Your life is going to create lives, give other people lots of hopes. You're going to achieve fame and fortune. He said this and he walked away. I thought he was talking to somebody else. And I looked around, there were only men around and he was talking to me. And I've thought about that quite a bit. And I feel that he was right. Because when I question myself, when I go into a dark place and say, wo life, why couldn't I have had that life? Because that's an easy life, no? किसी और की बीवी होना बहुत अच्छा है. मतलब वो respect जो मिलती है as a wife of a man is very different to the respect or the disrespect I get now. And I think because I was chosen to lead this life, to go through the traumas that I've been through and through the tragedies that I go through even now, to be honest. Mostly I'm shamed. Even today on internet, my BBC story came out on BBC. Oh my God, the vicious comments. मतलब वो ऐसे लगता है कि you have to go and jump off the building. The kind of way people talk to you. So it's a very difficult life. It's not an easy life. So if I was younger, I would have missed out on this difficult life and the wisdom that I have achieved now, and that I can actually tell people there's no need to be this person. You can have a better life as long as you believe in yourself and you stand up for yourself. There's no need. Society doesn't pay my bill, has never paid my bill. Society has never looked after my children. They have never babysat my kids when they were little. So you're looking after yourselves and let yourself be that strong, bold person that you are. But I wasn't.
But yeah, एक चीज तो है बस. That's why maybe you have stories. You have so many stories. Yeah. रागा कई बार ऐसा होता है कि like one of my friend, again a very close friend of mine, मुझे ऐसा थोड़ा सा ऐसा लगता है मुझे कि maybe she is interested in maybe, okay. But हर बार जब वो कुछ भी initiate करती है मैं ना उसे हंस के उड़ा देती हूँ. That means I don't know the protocols maybe or maybe etiquettes जो होने चाहिए. You know, अगर वही कोई लड़का होता तो शायद मुझे, क्योंकि मैं इतना तो सीख लिया ना हमने टीनेज से लेकर आज तक कि लड़कों को कैसे मतलब कैसे एक्सेप्ट करना है या रिजेक्ट करना है. बट ये मुझे नहीं पता है. सो मे भी मैंने उसे हर्ट किया होगा कई बार. टेल मी बिकॉज़ इवन मतलब हमें आना चाहिए.
But see, this is the thing. Just because it is another woman doesn't mean that the feelings are different or the way you have to respond is different. You have to respond the way you will respond, no?
You will respond,
yeah. So you don't have to become suddenly some guru who is responding to somebody else's advances or whatever, love, attraction. जो भी उसको title दो आप. If this person, Rani, has been, someone has shown interest, how would she respond, whether it's a man or a woman or whoever else, right? So the same way you have to respond. You have to respond. Everything has to come from the heart. So you have to give a very honest response. And if that response means that you tell that person, listen, I feel that you're interested in me. Let's talk about it. So, the word these days, the younger people use, safe space. This is what it means. Make yourself a safe space for people to talk to you. Like you're giving me a safe space now. So I've told you things I have not told anyone before about the priest. Because I was writing that book and I remembered that story. So safe space. So if your friend you feel is interested in, you create a safe space that person, because you don't know what that person is also going through, right? So make a safe space that person can come and tell you, कि मुझे ना ऐसे feel होता है. And then that person should feel that you will hold her safety in mind when you respond.
So lovely, lovely, lovely. Thank you so much, Raga. Like any parting words? Like,
well, I hope that I don't part that soon. So not departing yet. But I would say that just learn to love yourself. बहुत जरूरी है. हम भूल जाते हैं, in one of my sessions, I asked people, when you think of the person you love the most in this world, who do you think of? Most people said, oh, my mom, my dad, my wife, my child. My child is the most. My job, my dog, my cat. But nobody says me. Change that. When somebody asks you, who do you love the most in the world? Say, I love myself, and do not feel shame or guilt around it, because if you love yourself, then there's so much of love to give to the others. Otherwise, it's empty. We're all empty. We don't need to be empty. That's all.
Thank you so much, Raga.
Thank you. Thank you, Rani.
Amazing, amazing conversation.
92.5